Moves inside Ronaldo!
It's him again, Cristiano Ronaldo. Want to combine your love for web development and football? Well, today we're building something legendary. In today's episode, I will show you how to create this Cristiano Ronaldo card with modern design, animation, and interactivity. By the end of this video, you will learn how to structure your code style like a pro and add cool JavaScript effects. Stay till the end of this video and I'll show you how to make this page truly dynamic and responsive. Stay till the end of this video because I'll be showing you the tips and shortcuts the professional developers use to create modern and futuristic websites. And if you want the source code to this project, the link is in the description box or check my bio, you'll find it there. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow our update videos because that's all we do in this channel. We build junior developers to senior developers with the aim of coding with confidence and landing your dream job. So if you're ready, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Here in the code editor, we have linked the HTML file to the CSS file and we have a title of CR7 card. So within the body tag, the first thing we do, we're going to create a div with a class name of container. And the container is going to be the body holding each and every one of the card. So within this container, we're going to create a div with a class name of card. And each card is going to have an image inside. So we're going to insert an image. For the first card, we're going to select the first image. Now below the image tag, we're going to create a div with a class name of bio, which is going to have a biography of this image we're presenting. So the first thing we do, we're going to put a h1, which is going to have a text of Sporting. That is his first club. So below it, we're going to put a paragraph. For the paragraph, it's going to have a text of Portuguese Super Cup, which is the cup he won when he was in Sporting. And below it also is a button that contains a text of Read More. We're going to copy this card and we're going to paste it below. We're going to change the image to be the second image. Then we're going to update the biography. For the H1, we're going to change the club to be Manchester United. And for the title he won when he was in Manchester United, we're also going to update it, which is Champions League. For the button, we're going to leave it as it is. We're going to paste it again, which we're going to change the image to be image 3. And we're going to update the biography. For the H1, we're going to change the club, which is now going to be Real Madrid. For the paragraph here, also, we're going to change the title he won, which is also Champions League. For the button, we leave it as it is. We paste it again and change the image to be image 4. And for the H1 also, now it's going to be Juventus. For the title he won when he was in Juventus, we're going to write Serie A. We leave the button as it is also. For the fifth one, we change the image to image 6. We update the H1, which is now going to be Al Nassr, which is his current club he is now. For the paragraph now, we're going to update it with Arab Club Champions Cup. We're going to paste it again and we're going to change it to image 6 now. We're going to update the H1 now, which is going to be Portugal. For the paragraph here also, we're going to change it. Which is going to be European Championship. Now from our browser here, this is actually what we're having here. Each card has a value under it. So now we need to add flesh to this our skeleton structure. So we head to the CSS and give some styling to it. So the first thing we do in the CSS, we're going to give it universal styling, which is going to be a margin of 0 and a padding to be 0. Now we're going to target the body of the page. The first thing we do for the body, we're going to give the body to have a width which is going to be 100% and the height is going to be 100 VH. Now we're going to make the body to have a display of flex, align items of center, and justify content to be center, which is going to adjust the container in the center of the body. Now for the body, we also want it to have a background color, which we're going to use linear gradient for that, which is going to have the first color to be black and the second color to be white. But for the black, we want it to consume 89% of this page. Now we're going to target the container itself. As you can see it from the HTML, which contains our set of card. So the first thing we want for the container, we're going to give it a width, which we want it to be 100% of the body, and the height also is going to be 400 pixels. We're going to give the container to have a position of relative. Now we're going to target the card. So the first two we want on the card, we're going to give the card to be position of absolute, which we're going to make the top to be 0 space from the top. And for the left, we're going to make some calculation, which is going to be 50% and minus 120 pixels, which is going to adjust it in the center. We're going to make align items to be justified. And the weight of this container is going to be 300 pixels. And the height is going to be 100%, which is 100% of the container. Now, from our browser here, this is actually a sketch of what we're having. So now let's continue styling. Back to the CSS. We're going to give it a transition because we want when the images are changing, we want it to move smoothly, which is going to be 1 second. And for the border radius of this card, we're going to make it to be 1 because we want the edges to be curved. For the box shadow, is going to be 0, 0 with a 5 pixel blot, and we're having this light looking color. Now in the HTML here, we're going to target now the images itself. So we head back to the CSS here. We're going to give it a dot card and we're going to target the image. So we're going to image to have the same border radius as the card, which is 1 and we're going to give the width of this image to be 100% and the height of the image also is going to be 100%. So it's going to have the same size as its parent container, which is the card. We're going to make it to be object fit to be cover. And for the object position, we're going to make it to be 50%, 50%, which is going to focus on the center of the image. Now in the browser, this is actually what we're having here. But because now our bio is in the same position, that is why it's overlapping on top of each other. So now we need to style this our bio. So we head back to the CSS here. Are you tired of your clunky, outdated keyboard? Do you want to elevate your typing experience? Well, look no further because today I bring to you a Keychron K8 Pro. It's their first ever wireless mechanical keyboard that boasts premium aluminium frame. It has wireless connectivity that connects up to 3 different devices via Bluetooth 5.1 for seamless switching between devices, either your computer, your phone, or your tablet. The battery life is something else. It has a long battery life that provides up to 300 hours of usage with the backlight off, ensuring extended use without frequent charging. If you're interested in checking out more information about this product, the link is in the description of this video, or check my bio, you find the link there. And please take note, this is not a sponsored video, but an affiliate. So when you purchase something actually out of this product, I get a commission out of it, which is also a way of supporting my channel. So please, if you're interested in checking out more about this product, the link is in the description of this video, or check my bio. So with that, now let's head back to our video. So the first thing we do, we're going to give it a dot card and we're going to target the bio. First, we want the bio to be position of absolute. Then we're going to give it a bottom, which is going to be 0. And for the weight of this bio, we're going to make it to be 100%. And the height is also going to be 250 pixels. We're going to give it a background color, which we're going to use linear gradient for that. For the first color, it's going to be transparent. And for the second color, we're going to make it to be black. But we want the transparent to consume just 10% of the space. Now from our browser, this is actually what we're having here. Now we're going to make it to be text align of center, which is going to adjust the text in the center. Now in the bio, we're going to target the H1. So the first thing we want for the H1, we're going to give the H1 to have a font size, which is going to be 1.5 rem. And for the font weight, is going to be bold. and we want the color of the text for the H1 to be having this light color. Now, and we're going to change the text to be uppercase now, which we use the property text transform uppercase. And we want a space from the top of the text to be 30 pixels. Now, from the browser, this is actually an example of what we're having. As you can see, our Portugal here is the H1. Now, we're going to target the paragraph. So we give a .bio and target the paragraph. The first thing we do, we're going to give it a font size, which is going to be 0.7 rem, and the font weight is going to be bold. Now we give the text to have a color, which is going to be red. And for the letter spacing between its letters, we're going to make it to be 1 pixel. And we're going to make a text transform to change it to uppercase now. For the line height, we're going to make it to be 9 pixels. We want a space from the top of the text to be 10 pixels space, which we use margin top. Now, this is actually what we're having here. Now, we're going to target the button. So we head back to the CSS, put .bio and target the button. First, we're going to start by giving the button a padding, which is going to be 10 pixels space from the top and bottom and 20 from the left and right. For the button, we want it to have a background color, which is going to have this light color. We want the edges of the button to be curved, so we're going to give it a border radius of 10 pixels. For the border, we're going to make it to be none. For the cursor, we're going to make it to be pointer because we want when you hover on the button, we want the cursor to appear. We want the button to have a back shadow, so we're going to give it a 005 pixel blur, and we're going to give it a gray color. We want a space from the top of the button, so we're going to say margin top, which is going to be 10 pixels. Now, we want when you hover on the button, we want some changes to happen. So we're going to give it a box shadow when you hover on the button, which is going to be 00 with a 15 pixel blur with a white color. Now, this is actually what we're having here from our H1 paragraph and button. We're going to change the padding of the button, which we're going to make it to be 30 pixels. And for the paragraph, we're going to increase the font size, which is going to be 1 rem. Now, this is actually what we're having here. From the HTML here, now we're going to come below the last card and create 2 buttons, which we're going to use these 2 buttons to navigate between our images. We're going to give the first button to have an ID of next, and we're going to give the second button to have an ID of prev, which is the previous button. Now we have the next button and the previous button. So in the CSS here, we're going to target these 2 buttons. We're going to make them to be position of absolute, and we're going to give them a space from the top, which is going to be 40%. And for the background color, is going to be transparent. Now, this is actually where our button here is positioned. So we'll go back to the CSS. Now we're going to give it a border, which we want it to be none. And we're going to give it to have a font size, which is going to be 3 rem. And for the font weight, is going to be bold. We want it to have a font family of Arial. And for the left, is going to be 10%. We want when you hover, we want the cursor to appear, so we give it a cursor of pointer. We're going to make the color to be white. Now from the browser, this is actually what we're having here. So back to the CSS. Now we're going to target the next button only. And we're going to make the left to be unset, meaning it's going to remove the previous style we gave it, and it's going to use the new one, which we're going to make the right now to be 10% here. Now from our browser, this is where our 2 next and previous button are adjusted. So now we're going to go back to the HTML here. Just below this button here, we're going to create a script, and we have a JavaScript file, so we're going to link it to our HTML here, as you can see it here. So we're going to say app.js. So now our JavaScript file now is linked to the HTML file. In the JavaScript file here, we have an empty file. So now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to give a variable name of items to the container and for the card also. So now when we're done with that, in the HTML here, now we're going to target the next button and the previous button. So here in the JavaScript, the first thing we do, we're going to give the next button to have a variable name of next, and we're going to target it in the JavaScript. We're going to do also the same thing to the previous button. Now we're going to say let active is equals to 3, and we're going to give it a function of load show. let stt to be equals to 0, and for variable I is equals to active. Which is going to be +1. And items.length is also I++, which is going to be adding now. Now we're going to target the items, which is I, and we're going to give it a style. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to give it a style.transform. And the first thing here is translate X. Then we're going to give it a scale style also. When we're done with that, now we're going to move to perspective, which is going to be 16 pixel. And the rotate Y also is going to have its own different style also, which is -1 degrees. Now we're also going to give items to have a different style, which is the style.z_index, which we're going to make it to be -stt. Now another style we also have is the filter. And we're going to make it to be blurred. Now the list items here are going to be 5 pixel blurred. And one last thing we have now is the opacity. Which we're going to make the list items now to be in a 0.6 opacity. Now when we're done with that, we're going to call the function here. When we do that now from the browser here, this is actually what we have just styled here, as you can see it from the right hand side. So now we're going to activate the next button, as you can see it here. So we're going to head back here. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to target the variable name, which is the next button. Then we're going to give it an .onClick function. When we click on the next button now, it's going to go to the next image. So because of that, we're going to use plus sign for that. So that means it's going to move to the next image. Now, this line of code will do that for us. Now, when we do that now we're going to call the function also. So now, when we click on the next button, as you can see, there is movement that is happening when we click on the next button. So now we're going to go back here. So we're going to take this onClick function down. Then we're going to head back here. So now we're going to give the same styling again, but this one is going to be from the other side. We're going to balance this our card here. Now this is going to balance our card, so we're going to take this down for the second styling. Then for here we're going to make it to be -1, meaning it's going to go opposite the first styling that we gave it here. So the first one was +100, now we're making it to be -100. Now when we do that here, this is actually now what we have just done. For the right hand side was the first styling we gave it. From the left hand side was the second style we gave it just now. So now when we click on the next button here, as you can see what just happened right now. So now we're going to target now, we're going to head back here. So now we're going to target the previous button also, because we want when we click on the previous button, we also want some movement to happen. We want some action to happen. So we're going to target the previous button. We're going to give it an onClick function, just like what we did for the next button. But in this case, the previous button is going to go opposite of what the next button is doing. So since the next button is going plus, now the previous button is going to go minus. Then we're also going to call the function. So now here's actually what we're having. When we click on the previous button, we're also having some changes that is happening. We're going to make the active image now to be the main focus of the screen. So we're going to copy this here. We're going to go above it here. Then we're going to paste it here. Now, when we do that now we're going to change this eye to be active, which is going to be our active image here. So when we do that here, what we're going to do now, the first style in here, we're going to take it all down and we're going to make it to be none. We're also going to cancel the second styling, which is the z-index, and we're going to make it to be 1. And for the filter, we're making it to be none. For the opacity, it's also 1. If you do exactly as we have done from the beginning of this tutorial, this is going to be the final result you're going to be having here. So with that, we have come to the end of this tutorial and I hope you have actually gained something out of it. If you have, please don't forget to like this video, and if you have someone that you believe is going to gain something out of it, please share it to him. If you want the source code to this project also, the link is in the description box or check my bio, you'll find it there. So thank you very much for your time. See you in my next video.